good YouTube? It is your girl Taylor, aka Emo Brat, back with another video. And yes, y'all see that I'm finally in my own apartment, okay? And I've been here for about 2 weeks. I have furniture coming and stuff like that, but it's not gonna be coming just yet. It's be coming in by the end of this week. So I wanted to make a video because I have not made a video in a long time, and I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a long time. But what I'm gonna do is set this camera up because I don't want to be holding it when I make the video, and I have nowhere to fucking sit down to actually make the fucking video. So, we're gonna figure this out. Well, I did think about a place where I could sit us down, so I'm gonna just sit us down where we are, okay? I might be upside down, who knows? Who gives a damn? Okay, y'all, so I don't look the best right now, but it's not about that. I have not been on YouTube in such a long time, or not saying that I haven't been on YouTube in a long time. I just have not been as committed to doing YouTube as I would have been before. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And also, I want to touch some subjects that I've brought up in the last few videos that pretty much covered some things about me coming out, to y'all. Let's get it in. So y'all, I have like pillows that I got for my couch that's going to be coming in and everything. So I'm sitting on the pillows in the corner for the couch, but the couch ain't here yet, okay? Anyways, we'll figure that out once the couch gets here and everything, all the furniture gets here. So yes, y'all, I want to kind of go over absolutely as much as I possibly can. And it's been about a good 3 to 4 years of backed up information, backed up tea, backed up situations that have happened, changes that have happened in my life. Just a lot of backed up information, and we're gonna get into that in this video. So I guess we'll start from New York to Atlanta, okay? So my last few weeks that I was staying inside of New York, and this has to be like going on 4 years ago now. My last weeks that I was staying inside of New York, I was staying at a friend's house. I was planning to leave to go to my godmother's house. But by the time when I got to Atlanta, my godmother let me know at the time, well, my past tense godmother, she had let me know that she was going to be, I could not stay in her house. That's once I landed. So she was basically saying she wanted to get a hotel room for me for 3 days. And then I would have to pretty much figure it out from there. And clearly for me, that wasn't going to work out. So immediately I thought to myself, well, why can't I go stay at my god sister's house? And then from being in my god sister's house, then I will move into my own apartment and figure it out on my own while I'm there. That stay was very short, and I only ended up staying at her place for 2 weeks because by the grace of God, we ended up going to this barbershop. I met this lady through them, and they ended up sending a link to me about helping with getting apartments and stuff like that. So the following week, I was already like 2 weeks at her house. I was in her house. Now, I wouldn't say that I felt uninvited. I definitely felt rushed out a little bit, but at the same time, I understand it's people's place, you know what I'm saying? And people want their space for whatever they got going on. And genuinely, I really didn't want to be in nobody else's space. But at the time, I technically was prepared before I left New York, but then I was not fully prepared. Fast forward, I ended up moving into my own place. I will say, as far as my Atlanta experience, because I don't want to go through every story. If y'all want to hear more stories about what has happened or happened in Atlanta, because there was a lot of stuff for me to be punched in my face, left out a job, um, gaslighted at a club, people trying to expose me. I had to call the cops on somebody was stalking me. A whole lot of shit has happened in Atlanta. I would say to y'all, my experience in Atlanta, my phone is about to die. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on. But I was saying, my experience in Atlanta was not the experience I expected to have. I thought when my mind, and I'm gonna just let y'all know transparently what I believe it was supposed to be like, and it didn't go no way that I believed that it was supposed to be like. I thought, for so many years that I was in New York from the age of 15 to about the age of 20, 22, 21. I don't remember what age I was when I was in Atlanta. I have very bad memory, so I do not remember what age it was just 3 years ago. I'm 27 now, 26, 25, 24. Okay, to 24. From 15 to 24. I didn't expect my stay to be the way that it was. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about people we call family. I learned a lot about people we call friends. I learned about a lot, I learned a lot. So my stay, for me, I'm like, man, I had a long, from 15 to 24, hard few years. When I go here, I should have the heaviest support of my family that I really loved, and that I really cherished, and I really would put my all in for, and I thought that it was going to be a set of support, but I really learned a lot about family, or people we call family. I don't hate them. I'm never going to hate nobody. I love them at a point, so I'm not going to hate them, but I will say that I've learned my lesson from each and every last one of them, from my cousin, Blessing, to my godmother and my god sisters. Love them. I would rather keep my distance. I think a lot of them tried to play me for a fool, because they must think that I was stupid, or I don't know what the fuck they thought. But a lot of the people that we connected with, as far as a whole, just was trying to play me for a fool. And that wasn't the case. I just had a very vulnerable feeling for every last one of them. I had a very vulnerable feeling for each and every last one of them, and I held them at a certain, whatever in my head. And I guess in real life, it did not come out how it was in my head. So that, Atlanta. If y'all want to hear more about Atlanta, we'll talk about that down the line. Y'all just comment below, okay? And what I feel about that. Next, let's talk about moving to Houston. Right before I left Atlanta, I asked God, where should I go next? I heard Houston. Everything and anything that I can imagine being around me, from social media, from a conversation I was having on the phone, from me calling the food stamp office, they were all everybody for some reason brought up Houston. And at some point, I'm like, God, are you this gotta be the devil speaking, because who the hell wants to move to Texas out of all places? I came to Texas, and it started off a little rough, but it started to progress very quickly. So I'll say the first day that I landed here in Houston, I got off the plane, got on the bus, came downtown, got me a drink because I was stressed, and went up a stop because I was sitting in a bar, and God said, go up one more stop. I went up one more stop. I seen the hotel that I used to go to in New York myself, when I wanted to do weekend getaways, or when I had a whole bunch of money to be able to just do what I wanted to do. So when I went to New York, when I seen the hotel that I would usually stay at when I'm in New York, and after I stayed in their lobby for the first night, after that because it was nighttime by the time I was getting ready to go do anything. So I stayed in the lobby for the night. No one knew, no one found out. The next morning, the lady was like, oh, you can't do this. But she didn't know anything that was happening. So fast forward, I stayed in that hotel lobby. The next day, I checked into a shelter. Originally, the lady said that I wasn't going to be able to stay at the shelter. And it ended up being a blessing that I stayed and did the interview because she came running out the door. Excuse me, ma'am. And I always thank her by the grace of God for touching her heart, And she was like, I can't let you just leave like that. Like, she was like, even though I said that there was no beds, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to still make a way for you to, have a place to sleep. So I stayed there at the shelter for about a month. While I was in the shelter, I ordered a credit card. When I ordered my credit card, it came into the mail maybe 2 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later. And that same week after I got that credit card, I got kicked out of the shelter. I got kicked out of the shelter because they had a privacy law where you can't take pictures of people, yet they have cameras all over the building. But, I digress. But they had a privacy law where you can't take pictures of people inside of the shelter. And they had like a graduation for graduating one of their classes. And somebody that I was very cool with at the time, I took a picture of them. And I guess one of the staff seen it. Not the picture, but me taking the picture. And so we left, we went and got some Popeyes, came back, and they were like, hey, did you take pictures of the graduation? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm cool with everybody on the stage, boom, 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 boom. And they're like, yeah, but, we're fine with you taking pictures of this person, but everybody else, it's privacy laws or whatever the case may be, and you have to leave. So I had to leave that same day, that same moment. It wasn't leave in 20 minutes, leave in 30 hours. They wanted me to go within that same few seconds that I was there. So I had to go upstairs, pack up my stuff, and I left. I ended up back downtown in Houston. While I was downtown in Houston, I ended up taking a bus, I think, towards Westheimer. And while I was getting on the bus carrying my big ass suitcase, I met a guy, and the guy was an older man. And I would say thank you to him, but at the same time, older men have a way with their self. Not a spider on my damn wall, bitch. I hope that's what I felt crawling on me. A damn fucking spider, bitch, move. Anyway, I hope they're not in my pillows. That's the fuck I hope. The fuck is you talking about? Bitch. Anyways, took a bus, met this guy. I would say thank you to him, but I ain't gonna say thank you because older men, you know how older men give it up. And I was very nervous while I was there. I'm a tough cookie, but bitch, some things you just have to still be safe and secure about because you never know people's intention. It was free, and nothing is ever free in this world. And people be doing nice stuff for people, but I'm a complete total stranger. Even if he knew me, you never know how people operate, So I stayed with him for a month though, because he said he had one of his friends just left sleeping off of his couch. So he was like, I have a couch, and that's the whole story I can tell y'all too, if y'all want to hear about how that even went down. So I stayed with him. At that time of staying with him, the first week, I'm thinking when he leaves, he's going to let me stay in the house. But clearly I'm a complete total stranger. So he would tell me oh, you have to go. I don't know where you're going to go, but you have to go for, until I get back, and I'll call you when I get back. So I would, leave every day. And I was talking to the person, like I said, still that was at the previous shelter. It was a trans man, and he ended up paying for my storage and stuff like that. So I ended up bringing most of my stuff to my storage, and I kept a very few amount of things, just my clothes at this guy's house. So I told him, just cover this first month and I'll pay the rest of, pay every other month after that. So he did just that. And I told him I was just really concerned. And the person that I was talking to, he's a trans man, but he was inside of the shelter still. So he had a bed there. So I was pretty much in a tight bind, but I had a place to lay my head. I laid my head there. I would leave during the day. And, once you get out onto these streets, baby, you start meeting people, and that's me. So I ended up I was looking around for a job. I called a couple of places, and I ended up running into a program called something veterans, but they help veterans get jobs, and I ain't a damn veteran. But I said, hey, do y'all help people get jobs? And they said, yeah. And I went in there, met this girl, Deja. And when I met the girl, Deja, she invited me that same day to a family party event. I went with her because I ain't had shit else to do, and I was bored and I was tired of him keep bringing me in. So I went with her to that event, and then in that time I ended up meeting another younger dude with dreads. I wasn't doing nothing with the older man. I was sleeping on the couch. But you know how men are. So I started feeling the feeling like something was gonna be happening to me. I started feeling the graping feeling happening. So I just kept praying. Anytime that I was there, I was praying and praying and praying and praying and praying, and by the grace of God, I was protected. So now fast forward, I met this dude. He hit a U-turn 360 one night when I was on my way, when I was standing outside, headed to the store, walking to the store. And he was like, yo, you look so good. He was like, I had to stop my car. Like, he did a whole, bitch, he stopped his car with his foot, okay? And it had his door open and slid his foot and stopped right in front of me. He was like, who are you? You are gorgeous. Boom, boom, boom. Come to find out, that man had a damn fucking girlfriend. Don't know why, but I used him to my advantage too. He was a little fun. He was my fun, you know what I'm saying? But I used him to my advantage as well. So one day, I guess a month down the line, I only stayed at that old man's house for a month. And that's when I had, like I said, within that time, I met the dreadhead dude and I met the Deja girl. So Deja kept inviting me out. Dreadhead was inviting me out. Deja was inviting me out. Dreadhead was inviting me out. So I guess the old guy starts to see that my life is picking up and it starts to frustrate him or whatever the case may be. He starts bringing up little smart comments saying, yeah, you could be, he said, you don't need to do anything. So I didn't do anything. I just heard what he said. He's going to say common courtesy would say, if someone is letting you stay at their house, then you should do stuff or bring some tissue, some food or something. And I'm like, I have brought food in here. What are you talking about? I was like, I brought you pizza. I brought you stuff. I said, so he's like, I guess now he took back on his word of I don't have to do nothing, because his exact words was, no, you good. You don't got to think about no sex, no doing anything. You ain't even got to worry about food or nothing. I got you. Oh, okay. So he started seeing my life pick up. That nigga started twisting his words back around. So that only lasted a month. One day I went to go to the house, and I'm thanking God. I always thank God, because that same morning God told me to take all of my stuff with me. And he said, put it all in storage. So the girl Deja came and got me, because I think we were supposed to go somewhere to a club or something that night. And I asked her to bring me to put my stuff in the storage, and she did. So we went to the storage, put my stuff in there. She was like, girl, why you just don't want to keep it at my house? And I was like, no, I have a storage. I prefer to just keep it in my storage. Put all my stuff in the storage. We ended up going out. That same night we came in, I'm drunk. I'm on YouTube, and a video popped up saying, you're moving tomorrow. And I'm like, God, what do you mean I'm moving tomorrow? Like, I don't even know. I don't got no money. I got money, but I don't got no money to make no big move like that yet. And come to find out, the move wasn't about a huge move, but the move was to her house. So I ended up moving into Deja's house. Deja asked me, how long do you think you need to stay? I gave her an estimation of 2 months. I only ended up staying there for 2 weeks. How did that happen? Because I ended up one day being downtown, minding my business, like I always do, and another man stopped me, a white man. Now, this wasn't no just ordinary white man. This was a white man with some money on, okay? And the white man worked downtown at Chase Bank, the actual building, okay? So I met the white guy, and he stopped me in the middle of the streets heading back home. He was like, you're so gorgeous. That same man, we went out for like a week straight to all kinds of expensive ass restaurants. And, you know, I was just living my girl la la moment, and I enjoyed it. And so we get to the point where he's like, okay, we get to the point after the week later. So when I moved into her house, I had like $180 left on me. So I took the $100 and filled out I didn't even look at the apartment. I just went and filled out the application and just called it a fucking day. Because God told me don't pay for another hotel room. He said take that money and spend it on an application. So I spent it on an application, not knowing how I was going to get it paid. 2 weeks later, I told the guy my actual situation, because that whole entire time I didn't tell him I was homeless or I didn't have a stable, I had a stable place, but I didn't have my own place. So I told him, he ends up moving me in. I get accepted to 2 jobs. I get accepted to one, which I normally used to do back in New York, was security at Allied Universal. And then I got accepted to the bus company out here in Houston, which is called Metro. Okay, so I got accepted to both jobs. I really wanted the Metro job because the Metro job pays a lot. I got approved to pretty much start both jobs. But what ended up happening was, because I had to get my name changed on my birth certificate. Because that's out of my whole 10 years of transitioning. I've changed my gender marker. I never changed my name on my birth certificate. So I finally changed my name on my birth certificate, but I had to change and I was trying to get my gender marker changed, but I don't remember what happened. But anyways, we go to, I had to start the Allied job instead of the Metro job. So that took about 2 to 3 weeks before I got my documentation to start the Allied job. And because I was in such a rush, I had kept leaving the Metro job. Like, I would be at post and get aggravated because I just hated being there. And I would just get, like, the last 2 weeks was real hard for me. And I don't know what it was. My anxiety was at its highest climax, bitch. So I would leave and, bitch, get the fuck gone and just, like, not be at that job anymore. So the guy called me. He was like, did you leave post? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, well, here's what we're going to do. He was like, the next time you decide to leave post, I'm going to get you banned from being able to ever apply for a job here again. And he was like, but I'm going to give you a chance. He's like, I'm going to let you get the weekend, recuperate yourself, and then you come back on Monday. I went back Monday. God told me to go back on Sunday, okay? God said on Sunday to me, make sure you go back on Monday. I went back on Monday. Just my anxiety pushing me. So by the time Friday hit, I got that document, bitch, I was up and out of there again. And the guy was like, you left? He was like, you're fired. I said, oh, okay, well, I was going to quit anyway. But go ahead, thank you. So he fired me. He terminated me. I ended up having to wait like 2 weeks to start the Metro job. And I had just got a car too while I was, oh, no, not yet. So I started the Metro job and I had a rental. And I would drive back and forth to the job with a rental. I had enough money because of the last job to go get a rental for a couple weeks until I get my first check. So I had a rental going back and forth. Week 2 of that job. So while I was there at the job, you know, any job I go to, majority of jobs I've ever been to, people have an issue with who I am. You know, I'm confident, I'm very powerful, I'm strong, I'm loving, I love myself, and I walk into the room with that same energy. And so that makes people who are insecure intimidated. And then on top of it, they try to depict me, and then they start trying to figure out something to actually hate about me, because they don't really hate me, but they want to find something so that they can feel superior to me. So a lot of people, spend a lot of extra time trying to figure out if I'm trans. Every job I go to, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, it's always a fucking problem. Every job. I try, okay? I would go to these jobs, and I went to this job at Metro, and of course, I came into the building looking good, hair laid, everything laid, nails done, looking perfect, looking sexy at the same time. You know what I'm saying? All the dudes is trying to talk to me. And of course, there's this one lady who's about 6 feet tall with big ass hands and big ass feet trying to tell people that she think I'm a man, or whatever the case may be. That started a problem. I didn't say anything. 12 people came and told me everything she said. 12 people at that job. A dozen of people came and told me what she said, and they said, we don't appreciate that. It doesn't matter. We're here to work, and boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't matter. We are here to work, because that's all I'm here to do. I'm not here to get no niggas. I'm not here to do anything. I'm just trying to make my money. This is a guaranteed check. It's a government job, bitch. I need a guaranteed check. For the girl, with that job right now, girl, if I still had that job, bitch, I would be I would be eating right now. But I'm still eating by the grace of God, not just with the job. God is always blessed me. So we ended up, week 6, I ended up getting in an argument with this lady. A lot of this is just draining to talk about, just to be real, but I need to get this out the way so we can move forward into the new things. She ended up nitpicking with me so much so that on the 6th week, I cussed her out. I didn't threaten her, I just cussed her out. A few days later, I had got a second apartment. I had one apartment, but then I was getting a second when I got approved, and the move-in date was that same Friday, which in that week. So it had to be Monday. I cussed her out. Wednesday, I couldn't come back to work until Wednesday. I came back to work Wednesday. They handed me a packet, said you're terminated. By Thursday, Friday, I was moving into my new apartment. If y'all want a story time on that whole situation, I'll do one video on that. Just comment in the comment sections below. After that, I struggled in my brand new apartment, because at the job I made more than enough to suffice both apartments, actually, plus my car payment. With that job, I could have been able to cover absolutely everything that I needed, all my needs, everything, bitch. But job lost. And I just felt like that was karma for me leaving that last job the way I did, the job before that. But it's okay. It is what it is. I went through that. I don't even know. So I struggled in that apartment to cover my rent. I sufficed for about a good 3 to 4 months after. I started Ubering and just doing whatever I could do, gigs, whatever the case may be, bitch. Whatever thing I needed to do to get some money, and I was doing it, okay? Selling, not pussy, but just selling shit. Selling stuff that I had in my house, helping people with their credit and stuff like that. So I stayed in that house for a cool minute. It was a very nice house, very nice apartment, but I already knew that wasn't the place for me anyways. Very, very nice. I mean, I was very stunned at that apartment. End up moving out of there because I was close to getting an eviction, and I didn't know that you can stay that was my first time close to being evicted, and I didn't know you can stay. And I just didn't want to go through the whole court situation and everything. So I just packed my stuff up and left. I ended up sleeping from Airbnb to Airbnb because I still had money. Oh, while I was at the Metro job, I ended up getting a car. God blessed me with a car. So it was my first car. So I was in my car driving to Airbnbs, driving Uber, and then I ended up I ran into an Airbnb host that I ended up becoming very cool with a Chinese man, and his name was Evan. And Evan let me stay in one of his properties for a lower price, but he charged me bi-weekly. Stayed with him up until 1 week. I had the money to pay him his rent, and I don't know what happened to me. I felt like I dazed out a little bit. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't high or nothing. I was just I don't know, stressed out, that I like felt like I was about to like fall out, and my car leans over and I pop. The car didn't get messed up, but I popped both tires on the side. So that ended up costing me the rent. Instead of him, I explained to him, okay, I'm gonna try to get this amount. I hustled and hustled and hustled and hustled and hustled and hustled to get that amount. Instead of him bearing with me, which he really didn't have to, he then said, hey, he said yes first, but then after a while, he just said, yeah, you might have to go. So I was like, okay, I left. So I went to Airbnb to Airbnb. One day that was for a cool 2 months. It was cool. I got to travel and see new houses and meet new people and just do a lot of different shit, and it helped me a lot. So I end up driving one day. I have booked a room for, I think, 2 weeks or whatever the case may be. In happenstance, the same day that I was supposed to check out was a fucking tornado. I'm not from Texas, so I don't know nothing about the rain. And I had a Mazda CX-30 and an electric car, okay? So I'm driving my car. I get up 8:30 in the morning to check out, got all my stuff. I said to the lady, hey, am I able to stay because it's a storm? She said, no, I have someone else coming in. If I didn't, I would have let you stay, but she's like, I have someone else coming in. So I ended up loading all my stuff into the car, and she was like, I have other rooms that you could check into when you get some money, whatever the case may be. Loading up the car. God told me specifically, do not move this car. My disobedience did not listen. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get this money. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna go get some gas. It's about 8 o'clock. My very first ride when I turned on the Uber was a $30 ride. So I said to myself, oh yes, I'm finna be, this finna be quick. I'm finna get the fuck out of here, whatever the case may be. And a bitch is finna come right back and lay down and just eat and chill. You know what I'm saying? Vibe out, twin, vibe out. That is not what happened, bitch. 30 minutes later, I'm driving up from Cypress to Tomball. I turn on this street. I'm thinking the street is shallow. If you ever see how that street look, I'll do a video about that if y'all want to know. Turn on the street. I'm thinking the street is shallow. Driving down the street, I noticed that I'm underwater. Instantly, I should have reversed my car. But because I didn't know the severity of how much damage water could do, because I'm watching other cars go through the water like no tomorrow. I'm not from Texas. I didn't know that you're not supposed to do certain things when you're driving through water. So I get halfway into the water. I'm like, oh shit, this is real deep. I'm feeling the water starting to come into the car. So I get to reverse in the car. Worst decision I ever made. My engine stalled, car shut down, everything from there. So nobody else live here, bitch, and ain't nobody else drinking from this. I got other juices for my company, okay? So I got cups too, but I just don't feel like getting a cup right now. But yeah, so car gone. I ended up sleeping in that car for 4 days, because keep in mind, I had nowhere to go. I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have no friend house, no whatever. I wasn't cool with Deja no more, so I didn't have nowhere to go. Fast forward, I go get a U-Haul. I get the U-Haul for 2 to 3 days, I think 3 days. I told the guy I was gonna come pay him. I'm thinking you can Uber with a U-Haul. This is one of my dumb moments, okay? I'm thinking I can Uber with a U-Haul, not the van, not the big old van with the back piece. I'm talking about like they trucks with the open slide, like a regular truck you see driving down the street. Okay, so that's considered to be a car. Okay, so I go and get one of those. 3 days later, I was staying with this other dude for like a day, and then he had his daughter come, and then he was like, "Oh, you gotta go." And then I went and got the truck, and then the worst decision I made, I ended up trying to keep the truck for like a day or two more until I can figure something out, get some money or something. I hustled my ass off to get some money. I ended up getting some money or some way somehow deposited into my account. I don't remember how, but I got some money. And I brought the truck back, but I ain't never paid him. Still gotta pay them, but I'm gonna get to it. So, no U-Haul for some time. Like I need to get a U-Haul because I could have got a U-Haul to get the furniture and bring it here, but I can't even do that right now. So, anyways, fast forward. I had stayed in the car, did Uber in the car, made some money, and then got another room. I had to find like the very cheapest rooms that I could possibly do. So I would keep booking the rooms and then calling Airbnb saying there's roaches. And then they would give me my money back. So yeah, that's pretty much. So to fast forward, it's a little more that I can be telling y'all. I got an apartment. I ended up getting an apartment there. Now, I stayed in that apartment for a few months. Last year, I had a job, lost the job again because people started talking about, is she trans, and boom, 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 boom. Y'all don't understand the severity of how bad it is to be trans sometimes. But, you still have to push through. You got bills to pay. People don't care about that. People care about their selfishness and wanting to feel entitled and feel like they know everything about you. When I'm just at the job to make a fucking check, not to make friends, not to make anything personal, not to be in nobody's business, not to be, when you carry a strong light too, it's a whole nother ball game. So being trans plus a strong light is even more of hell, okay? Fast forward, y'all. I'm back in my own apartment again. I just had to go through, again, another 4 months of homelessness. But I'm finally figuring it out, I'm finally understanding that this is not a game. And I need my peace, and I love my peace, and I want a home, and I want to have a home, and I want a savings where I can be able to, if I ever have to fall back again, at least I won't fall too far down. I want investments that are making me money. I'm working on building my business, my financial advisory business. So there's so many things I'm still working on right now. So many hookups in the middle of doing it, as well as rapping still, making music and all types of stuff, and building a community and trying to stay consistent. So this just explains why I have never not tried to not be I have not tried to be inconsistent. But with all that I go through, I have to do a lot of figuring shit out. Then once I get settled in, healing. I'm at a place where I don't really want to heal no more. I just want to do what I need to do. I'll heal later in the race. I'll heal later with my chauffeur when I'm going downstairs in my chauffeur from my penthouse, and the chauffeur is picking me up, and I have maids walking all around the house, and that's when I'm gonna heal again. I'm gonna heal when I have $2.5 billion in my bank account. Like, that's the healing, and that's the time I think I'm gonna heal. I don't need to heal no more. I've been healing and healing for the past few years, and hurting and healing and hurting and healing and building and losing and winning and building and winning and losing over and over and over again. Where I'm at, I got a few months with no rent by the grace of God. So I'm going to use this and take advantage of this to build everything that I've been wanting to build and not really slack. I have took 3 weeks to really get my mind together. I may not look 100% my best or like myself. I don't look bad, but I don't look like myself 100%. But at the same time, just give me time. I'm recharging, and more videos will definitely be coming. Again, y'all comment down. What do y'all want to know more about me? What do y'all want to talk about? What should this channel be about? What should we discuss? Like, what should I do? Should I do fun interviews? Should I do a podcast? Would y'all prefer to see me podcast? Would y'all prefer to see my life about my music, my business? What would y'all want to see? Or would y'all like to see it all? Would y'all like to see vlogs? So y'all just tell me what y'all want in the comments. And I just want to say I love y'all. Even those who have failed me, I love y'all too. Some people I know will be watching this video, but at the same time, I don't regret anything I said. I do think that that was my perspective and my experience. And that was just that, I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.